Welcome back, everyone. So before we went to break, we were talking about all those fun holiday activities that you have at Creekside. You know, another thing you said during breakfast as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, before we get to breakfast, part of our fun is we are a regular stop for the Postal Service, for UPS, and for FedEx, because everybody has their gifts coming in. Yesterday, and everybody could sit around and watch them open. And a lady had ordered, it was a black sequin jacket. So she put that on and was modeling it out in the lobby and stuff. So they're really excited to get their gifts, whether it's for themselves or for somebody else, and kind of share with all of their friends.
And we do have families that call and say, since we won't be in town, would you guys hold those packages and then deliver them Christmas Day? So the holding pen is kind of in my office. So I've got all these gifts that I'll get to feel kind of like Santa or Mrs. Claus and get to go deliver those, you know, so that they'll have packages from their family to open Christmas.
We'll give her the red hat too that she can wear.
I think I got this.
Yeah, I got this.
Well, we do have Monica on line 1 if we want to go ahead and take that call real quick. Wonderful. Hi, Monica. Thanks for calling in. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Monica. What's your question for us tonight?
You know, I've been out there to Creekwood. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, I live there myself. I mean, but I wanted to know, like, is it only for, like, if you got a lot of money? Because, like, my mom, she's in the early stages of dementia. And I've been trying to place her, but the places around here, when people don't have money, you know, you get for raw treatment. And my mom's been sick all her life, and I think she deserves somewhere to stay, like Creekwood. I mean, if I won the lottery today, Creekwood would be the first place I come to. But like I said, it's gorgeous. So I just wanted to know, is it just for income-based, like people who's made a lot of money and can only afford it, or do y'all do insurance or stuff like that?
Wonderful question. Thank you for calling in, Monica. Of course, I'll let you two take that away.
Okay. Monica, for Creekside, we are private pay. Which means that the family, the residents, they do pay their monthly rent. But there are a couple of, if someone has long-term care insurance, that can help with the cost. If someone is a veteran or the surviving spouse of a veteran, there are some VA benefits that you might be eligible for that a lot of people aren't even aware of. And when somebody talks to Lori, and I probably should have just let her answer this question, because we try to help you find whatever it is that's going to suit your needs. There are other options out there, and things that can help, and a lot of times, you know, we can help get you in the right direction if it turns out that Creekside isn't going to be the best fit for you, whether it's financial or whether it's the size or for whatever reason. Our goal is to serve every family that calls us and help them get in the right direction and find what they need.
We received a lot of financial questions the last time we had you all visiting us here on News Channel 5. Plus, Lori also mentioned to a lot of folks that called in. Again, she's very happy to take those calls. We'll get the information to reach Creekside here in just a little while. We'll let you know the number that you can call, as well as the website. Already some folks checking that out. That's wonderful. And any questions, it's kind of a base-by-base situation. Is that right?
Because I know we're on here and we're called the experts, but we have been in this industry a very long time, and if Creekside doesn't fit for financial reasons or whatever reasons, like Claudia said, we are experts in our community as to what resources are available for folks, like case-by-case basis, and we're more than happy to share what we know to make someone's life easier, not just to move them to Creekside. we'll help the overall community with resources that we both know about.
Wonderful. That's comforting for folks to know that are tuning in tonight, because this is a tough phase of life. We want to live, you know, our best lives, and the senior assisted campus that you all have, it's wonderful, as well as the care that you can give to those who need a little additional care in the Memory Center. Well, let's go ahead and kind of, on a more serious note, we've been talking about the fun holiday activities, but you know, this really is a tough time of year, and let's kind of go into that a little bit. We were talking about that before the show tonight, and tell folks what that means.
Well, the holidays, you know, everybody gets busy, and we get all tied up in the things that we have to do, and this can also be a time where, you know, now when children grow up, very often they move away from their hometown. So they move away from their parent, and so they come back at holidays to visit, and you begin to notice the changes that have taken place that on the telephone you don't pick up on, in a letter you don't pick up on, or email. I don't guess many people write letters anymore, do they? But no, seriously, when adult children, when families come home to visit for the holidays, this is very often the beginning of their inquiries and their calls to us, because they do notice things like the medicine that hasn't been taken, the mail that's piled up in the kitchen or on the dining room table, and they don't know what to do. And so,
Claudia, but what are some of the, you know, comforting factors that you can tell folks? You know, you may be noticing these things occurring. What can they do?
Well, the first thing I guess that you can do, it really, every situation is going to be different.
Yes.
But that, again, that's why we're here, is to sort of help guide people and help people decide what is the best direction to go. What do we need to do? And we have so many options. Like, we have a day program, you know, and again, as Lori mentioned, sometimes it might be outside resources that somebody just needs a couple of times a week before they actually make a move or transition into needing senior care or senior living. But when you start noticing, you know, ideally people have this kind of a conversation when everybody's at their very best. So as a child, I kind of know already what it is that my mother wants, or we've talked about, you know, when this time comes. I don't think there's any parent that ever feels like they want to be a burden on their children. And we have a lot of people that'll say, well, Mom said she never wanted to live with any of us. You know, so when those things happen, it makes it a little easier. But again, when you come home, when you start noticing things, then that's the time to really start making some calls and looking into options before you get into a crisis situation.
Well said.
Well, and even with our residents that families don't come and visit, folks that already live with us that are choosing to be as independent, of course, as they can be, but their families may only come once or twice a year, and when they notice things that have declined with us, the beautiful thing is it's already in place. They can choose to see our director of resident care, come and talk to us, and they can start putting those things in place that, hey, Dad needs more services. Even if he doesn't realize he does, I notice that he does. So we can just make those adjustments right then and there. Or we've been able to call them through the year before they get here and they're not so surprised. So even in-house for our families, those visits when they're out of town, it can be a hard time of the year.
It's very shocking.
It is. It's
very shocking when you don't see someone and then you go, you know, you go to visit, because again, and I can really personalize this because I didn't live in the same city as my mom, but I talked to her. You know, I talked to her 2 or 3 times a week, and I'd say, "Oh, what are you doing?" She'd go, "Well, I'm watching TV, and I'm just looking through the mail." Well, and I might call her, you know, the next day or the next day. "Hey, Mom, what are you doing?" "Well, I'm just watching TV and looking at the mail." And it wasn't, you know, until you actually are there and you go, Why is it that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we're watching TV and going through the mail? And so you start kind of picking up on little things and noticing changes in someone's habits or their routines, or even that not that they're repeating themselves or repeating stories. That's not really what I'm talking about. It's more sort of like what I just said, you know, where you don't see somebody, and then when you do, it can be very shocking and eye-opening to realize that there's been a lot more going on than you ever realized that there was.
And of course, we also wanted to touch base tonight on how really there's loss, you know, and how this time of year really impacts folks.
Yeah. Well, again, you know, we all get very caught up in family traditions and things that we've always done, and especially when someone has dementia, that can really you really are forced to change tradition. In early stages, there are things that you can do that are very simple, like, you know, we can bake cookies together. We can string popcorn and cranberries. We can do things like that. But as that disease progresses, then the world shrinks, and things that you and I might find fun and exciting, like the big family get together and all the kids running around and the music and all of that kind of stuff, can be very overwhelming and actually detrimental to the person that's, you know, the person that's actually suffering with the disease.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, we were also going to talk a little bit tonight about the changing of holiday traditions.
Right.
Let's touch base on that as well.
Especially when you have the dementia diagnosis, like she was just saying, all the kids together, all the opening of the presents, all the running, the playing that we thrive on and that mom may have thrived on at one point becomes very chaotic. It's a disturbance. They no longer remember that they're home. They can't understand the process. So you have to change what your family traditions are and go into their world, which means everybody might have to come 2 or 3 nights, small setting, very quiet, you know, open a few gifts, not overwhelm mom. Or if mom is in an assisted living, bring the family tradition to her, because that's now what she recognizes.
Yeah.
That's now her home.
Those minor changes can make a big difference.
Yes.
Obviously.
Because too much chaos can really throw their pattern. That routine and structure when you have Alzheimer's and dementia is what keeps them thriving. That's what keeps them going and not on that decline. When you throw their schedules so out of sync, even if it's just for a little while at the holidays, they can't process that that's just, oh, they're going to leave in 3 days and my house will be back to normal. For them, it's wrecked their whole existence. And for that, and families to recognize that, it's harder for the families than it is for their loved one.
Yes.
We're touching on so many great topics tonight, and you want to go ahead and just get out another quick reminder that this is Ask the Expert, and we're so happy to hear from folks tonight. We've got a few more moments left in the show here, another 20 minutes or so, and the ladies we're talking about holidays right now. We switch gears into that element of the show, of course, because it's that time of year. A lot, and I tell you what, some of the things you all are talking about tonight, we don't think of. You know, it's really important that maybe some folks are learning some things tonight as well, but we want you to call in. If you have a story, any comments or questions, call that number right there on your screen. We are going to take a quick break, but keep it right here.
This is a Storm 5 HD weather update. Sign up for Weather Call at newschannel5.com.